Hi there, my name is Tim Cornish and welcome to Calgary. This is Calgary, Alberta, Canada, where I am reporting from. This is an English as a second language, or this is going to be an English as a second language lesson, and I hope you enjoy it. Today's lesson, World's Fair for educational purposes only. World's Fair, Expo 67. In 1967, Canadians celebrated their country's 100th birthday by inviting the world to a giant party. Over a 6-month period, nearly 50 million people accepted the invitation and journeyed to Montreal to celebrate with Canada. The party was known as Expo 67, a World's Fair and exposition held in honor of Canada's centennial and the 100th anniversary of Confederation. When it finally drew to a close, people around the world were calling Expo 67 the best World's Fair in history. What is even more remarkable is the fact that it almost did not happen. The idea for Expo 67 first began in 1958, when Senator Mark Drouin first came back from the World's Fair in Brussels. He suggested that Canada should celebrate its centennial in style by hosting a fair of its own. Different locations for the fair were discussed, and after the city of Toronto rejected the idea, Montreal sought to host the event. The Canadian government applied to the International Exhibitions Bureau in Paris, asking for the right to host the most ambitious fair of its kind, a first-category fair that would see countries construct their own pavilions. However, the Soviet Union also applied to host the 1967 World's Fair the same year as their 50th anniversary. Initially, the Soviet Union was awarded the fair, but after 2 years, the enormous cost of hosting the event caused the leaders in Moscow to change their mind. Montreal Mayor Jean Drapeau quickly set out to win the fair for his city. He traveled to Europe to appeal for Canada and asked Canada's Prime Minister John Diefenbaker to help. On November 13, 1962, Canada was finally awarded the 1967 World's Fair. Work on the project began immediately. The first step was to enlarge Île Notre-Dame, an island park in the middle of the St. Lawrence River. Nearly 25 million tons of rubble were poured into the river to create a series of man-made islands on which Expo 67 would eventually be built. Over 60 countries agreed to participate in the fair. The theme for Expo 67 was Terre des Hommes, meaning man and his world. All exhibitors were asked to design their own pavilions with a focus on man the creator, man the explorer, man the producer, and man in the community. From the day it opened, Expo 67 was an incredible success. Tourists could travel by foot, gondola, or monorail. They could see Buddhist shrines, pyramids, circular movie screens, and giant tents. They could explore the inside of the American Geodesic Dome or marvel at Canada's unique habitat, a 158-unit housing project designed for the future. After the success of Expo 67, the world's view of Canada began to change. People were finally seeing Canada as something more than just a frozen little country north of the United States. For the first time in history, Canada was in the world spotlight, and all Canadians discovered a new sense of pride in their country. So be proud of being Canadian. From Calgary, Alberta, Canada, my name is Tim Cornish, and hit that share button. Okay, thank you.